All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Bar with your co-host, The Funk. We got P. Cotta and we got Fuck the West.
With the white hat.
The white hat. If you're watching our podcast, please subscribe, like the video or the podcast, whatever you're watching or listening to. We really appreciate it. Just a couple of wrestling fans, smart. We like to think we're smart wrestling fans.
We are.
Enjoying, the pro wrestling world these days and commenting about it, providing our expert opinion on all these topics. And today we're talking about the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble winner, the main event, Jay Uso. Yeet! Yeet! So, we're gonna debate if this was a good call from WWE, from Triple H, or not.
Let me start with something first, because we've had this conversation a lot over the past couple of days. Before we came on, I realized what the issue is. It's not so much Jay Uso, it's more of who deserves to be the big boy champ who's a babyface. It's a small list. Think about it. Out of all the guys you think are like acceptable guys for the belt, there might be 3, maybe 4 baby faces, and some of those guys are like hybrid baby face, like CM Punk. You know, like Cena, obviously, but like name all these other baby faces who are like Sammy, but they keep on having him lose now. So it's like it's a babyface problem, I think.
Well, and I would have preferred either one of those 3 that you just mentioned.
Oh, I'm just saying, like even Randy Orton. Randy Orton is like a hybrid babyface. He's like, when you wanted to be a babyface, he can, but he's not really a babyface. They don't have a real babyface as like potential WWE champion. It's a problem.
Well, I have my dissertation coming soon on this topic, but just and that's something I hadn't thought about, right? I would have preferred CM Punk, which was my pick to win the Rumble. I would have Super Cena. I would have preferred him because he's more credible. I would have preferred Sami Zayn because he already beat Gunther. I would have preferred LA Knight than Jay Uso. She's super over as well, and he's been kind of being left behind recently, with the US title. Man, it's like how far down the list is Jay Uso on the is gonna be. So
I believe it was a good decision from a how do you call your from a development perspective. How do you call yourself main event anything and you don't win main events? You need it, even if it's a transitional title reign. We talked about people like Mick Foley. We talk about people like even The Miz. We don't like The Miz. But from a talent development perspective, like you said, Wes, we don't really have a lot of baby faces. That's a big problem. And you've buried a lot of your baby faces because you don't have good storylines around them, good talent development, and you keep letting Cody Rhodes just never get pinned by anybody. So if you're going to have this yin of no Cody Rhodes gets pinned, then you need to be able to develop your next set of baby faces. LA Knight could have definitely taken the spot and it led the role as far as winning the Rumble, right? He's very over. He shouldn't be in the mid card at this point, right? You had your match with Roman. I know he lost, but at that point, what happened afterwards? You didn't develop him. in anything. I mean, he has no direction right now. He
Yeah.
doesn't have a mania beef. So I'm okay with Jay Uso, top merch set, like second top merch sales. You know, the kids are going crazy. Yeet Street, put me on Yeet Street. Okay. I'm okay with Jay Uso winning some type of singles gold. It's good for the bloodline because the bloodline is going to come and back him up and make sure that he gets over. He's already over with the fans. Let him have a run. Even if it's a transitional run, it doesn't have to be these long-term runs. When you look at the history of people like Chris Jericho, who had, right, the 8 times, the 9 times with the Intercontinental Championship, a lot of those title reigns were not 365-day title reigns. Let me just put it in a bigger perspective. Triple H's 14 title reigns that he's had have been less than 280 days. That was his longest title reign he's ever had. And he's already remarkable. Why is he remarkable? Because you built storylines around him. Chris Jericho, same deal. You built storylines around him. And he was able to build up face or heel and be able to dominate in the ring. Let him have at least a transitional run. Let's see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? People stop selling merch? What's the worst that could stop happening? Viewership on Netflix goes down?
No,
It's
I
not
don't.
gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to have like a negative
Right.
impact in terms of viewership or merch sales. If anything, maybe it'll boost his merch sales a little bit. I just don't think that he is good enough
Right.
to be either world champion.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take half of the equation, right? There's Cody Rhodes and there is Gunther.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to take the Gunther side of the equation.
Right.
First of all, we already saw that match. Gunther versus Jey Uso, and he lost on Saturday Night Main Event. He lost. We seen it, and he lost. That's the first thing. Secondly, and this applies to both sides of the equations, he's not a great in-ring wrestler. He does a couple of moves. He does his top rope, half-ass, whatever you call it, splash, splash.
Right.
I mean, you see guys like Bronson Reed or Jacob Fatu doing the same move. It's 100 times much better. And I don't hate Jey Uso. Actually, I like him a lot. I cheat. I cheated in LA in the Raw, the debut on Netflix. I cheated on Atlanta as well on Raw. He has a great momentum right now, but my next point, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need a world title run. Maybe it's a personal goal of his. I'm sure it is, but from a business standpoint, he doesn't need the push of a world title to get anywhere else. And I don't think the reason I say this is because I don't think that fans in general, are going to take him more seriously if he wins the belt. I don't think they will.
Right. Well, I'll give you some storytelling for you. He's main event Jey Uso. He's always hungry for a title, hungry for an opportunity. If the Monday after WrestleMania, Goldberg comes out and spears him for the title, you could have Gunther.
Would that be
versus
better
Goldberg.
than Goldberg spearing Gunther?
No, they can have their fight. What I'm saying is, from a fate, like you said, you haven't built up a lot of baby faces. We had Kofi Mania. What happened? Kofi lost that title in how many seconds? 6 seconds to Brock Lesnar on the season premiere of SmackDown.
There's a couple things that I thought about this. The difference between Jay and Kofi is that Kofi started out as a single, and he
Right.
spent a lot of time as a single, so he built that up.
Right.
And then he went to being a tag guy. He's been a tag guy for a long time, and he's gone back.
Airboom. Airboom was it with Evan Bourne?
It was.
Yeah, yeah. So Jay though has gone the opposite direction, and
Correct.
I think that's why we are saying this about his in ring. And also, a thing I
He
noticed about
has a twin brother.
yeah, another thing about the in ring is that he doesn't have like an original move set. I think that having a signature move would even like differentiate you a little bit. But he does like nothing he does is original. It's not bad, it's not good. It's just he's solid and he flies around and he does athletic stuff, but it's just no original move.
I like the fact that he won because he put a wrench in John Cena's fence, even if it was for a couple days. Because John Cena's in the Elimination Chamber right there to show the pick. But to be able to just not hand it over to Cena so easily, I'm fine with it. Just because I don't want to see Super Cena win 17 times. I don't think that a lot of people want to see him win
It's
17
happening.
times.
We can't fight it, man. It's gonna happen. Hate to
Well,
break it to you.
Well,
this time could be up.
yeah, yeah. His time is now. His time is done.
But
It's the last time. The last
Last
time.
time.
it
The
is the
last
last.
time.
I want him to go heel though. I want him to have some adversity. I want him to go heel. I want him to be a jerk. I want
But before we deviate to John Cena, which we can talk about,
All right.
Jay Uso. The other thing, my other point, which applies to both sides of the equation, we already saw him in a very important match at WrestleMania against his brother Jimmy Uso,
Right.
which you could argue he has great chemistry with because it's his freaking twin brother.
Right.
They have wrestled together forever since day one, Us.
Literally.
Literally. And that match sucked balls.
That match shouldn't have happened because it was overshadowed by every piece of bloodline that we ever had. We had 2 nights of bloodline action outside of their match alone.
If that match would have been alone in a car, it would have still sucked. It was a bad match.
I agree. The match wasn't the greatest. It's a stepping stone. I feel the same way. I would feel the same way about Montez Ford. What if Montez Ford won the Money in the Bank?
That
I
would
would
have been
feel the
great.
exact same way. I would be on Montez Ford Boulevard wanting him to get the big boy belt, not the
Oh, yeah.
US title, but the big boy belt.
Me
Because you
too,
want
because he's a
to-
great wrestler.
I want to see someone that has never had and for me, the Money in the Bank, King of the Ring, and Royal Rumbles to me are sacred. In that, I don't like to see people who don't need those types of pushes get those types of pushes.
I agree.
Like, I don't want to see John Cena win the Royal Rumble when you have an entire roster of people who have like LA Knight, who have no opportunities, no type of guidance, no type of main event anything, right? He has no main event at this point.
So let me ask you this though, like I agree with you on LA Knight, but I think that they're a year late.
But that's their fault.
It is their fault.
It's
You're-
nobody's fault but their own.
It is it is their fault. So I think that
And a
they
lot of that is you've protected Cody, right? And that comes at a cost. And it costs you the next set of baby faces.
Did you watch the match between Gunther and Jay Uso at Saturday Night Main Event?
Yes.
How would you rate that match?
Out of a 10, a 6. Genuinely, 6.
That's not WrestleMania quality, and it was because of Jey Uso. It wasn't because of Gunther. We know
It
that.
wasn't. I agree. Because Gunther can do 10s.
Oh,
We
yeah.
know that.
Banger
Lights
after
out.
banger after banger.
Lights out. It was because of him. He needs to develop. I'm not saying he doesn't need to develop, but how many times we put the big boy belt on somebody who needs to develop? Look at Seth Rollins, his first reign. He needed to develop. He was injured. He injured Sting.
well, it's a dumb move. but that's
No,
the story.
what I'm saying is we've put the big boy Finn Balor, and the night after he had to relinquish the title. We've done things with the title. He was the first ever United States Universal Champion and has never been Universal Champion ever since. Right? Meanwhile, bring back WCW like your sign says. You can go back there. I'm on Yeet Street. Because if you bring back WCW, you need some type of baby faces. You need somebody who can actually have some stats and be able to rattle them off. Look at the, like I said, look at the Miz. The Miz will tell you day in, day out. Every single match, you hear it. I successfully defended the title at WrestleMania against John Cena. Every time. Whether we love him, hate him, or not. No matter how you did it, he still won the match.
So this made me think of something too, Phil. I think the WWE does a bad job at developing baby faces. Think about it. Sammy was over. Ken Russell is behind off. A great promo. He had it all, and they've never let him get that belt.
Absolutely.
But I think I agree with that, but I think that's also the nature of a baby face, right? So if you have 50-50 baby faces and heels, it's less of a struggle for baby faces. So you have heels that are very powerful, and then you have the baby face struggling between them to get to the top. So I think that's part of also the storytelling nature of it.
I can understand that. Like I said, I just think that with you having Cody the Untouchable over here, I mean, think about it. I wouldn't be surprised if Triple H let Cody Rhodes hold the title after Mania. And I hate to say that. I don't want him to. But let's be real. This is Cody. This is the Cody story we've had for the last 3 years. We've seen Cody versus Roman before, right? We still,
For it.
we still,
We wanted this. Everybody was like, he wanted to finish the story. He
No.
finished
Finish the story.
no, I wanted Rock versus Roman. I'm sorry.
There was a portion of the audience that wanted that, but I
We
mean,
were
if
robbed.
you saw how they cheer for Cody and all that, and we want Cody chants.
And I'm cheering for the underdog on this one. I'm tired of John Cena getting a number 30 spot in the Royal Rumble, for example, and all of a sudden he's in the Royal Rumble, he's in the main event of Mania. Like,
Yeah, I agree with Cena, but it didn't have to be Cena. It could have been Punk. It could have been, which Punk has never won the Rumble. It could have been Drew McIntyre, which he's amazing. It could have been Roman Reigns. It could have been Seth Rollins. It could have so much talent in that Rumble that deserves this spot that meets, the in-ring, that meets the microphone. How
but
would you rate Jay Uso on the microphone, Phil?
out of a 10, outside of Yeet, this new movement, I'm gonna give him like a 4 or 5. I
Yeah,
don't
he's
think
not good.
he's not significant enough of a player. I also think that we've tarnished the World Heavyweight Championship again. I'm sorry with Cody. This Cody losing to Gunther really made that championship kind of lackluster in my eyes.
In your eyes, and only
In my
your
eyes.
and
In my
Jared's
eyes.
eyes.
And as a result, you need a yin and a yang. You got to pick it back up with some type of merch selling person, even if it's transitional. It does not have to be a year. I think that we're stuck in this like everybody has to have a year-long title reign. This is going to be the end all be all, right? Like because we just got through one of the longest title reigns we've ever seen, and one of the greatest, personally speaking. And I got to give him his props. Roman Reigns, I mean, one of the greatest, right? Next to Hogan. I mean, come on. But I'm okay with him having a transitional reign and just seeing what happens.
So I would be happy with him losing it on the Raw after he won it.
Yeah.
They don't do it that way no more. They
But
should.
but they should.
They should.
They don't. It's not exciting. It's to the point, like I said, we're television. I literally turn off Saturday Night Main Event, right? We didn't even compete on Saturday Night Main Event as, doing our own little internal, bets for fun because Saturday Night Main Event was such a predictable card and it was horrible to watch. I think that you need to add some type of spoiler in there every so often to keep people watching, to keep people engaged. I get that Netflix is at 6 million viewers right now, but let's be real, Netflix has worldwide capabilities. And 6 billion people watching, I mean, that sounds great, but it's not as what it could be. It could be 20 million people watching that thing live.
You think he's deserving of the WrestleMania main event spot when he just achieved a 6 out of 10 with Gunther, which is one of the best ever, when he's a 4 on the microphone, when he had a horrible WrestleMania match with his brother Jimmy, and when this is not going to help Gunther at all. If he goes against Gunther, losing against Jimmy, which by the way, against Jay, which by the way, would be like a repeat story of what happened with Gunther and Sami Zayn on the Intercontinental title. Missionary, as you say.
Right.
Yeah, again, just change Sami for Jay, right?
Right.
How does that help anyone?
We know that this can
have to be
help.
Cody.
What you say?
He's gonna have to be Cody.
Cody versus Jay Uso.
He's gonna have to.
Babyface versus babyface.
Why not?
That usually doesn't work. Usually.
And somehow have Javid's boy go heel.
Cody?
Yeah.
So soon?
Why not?
I mean, he's kissing babies, he's hugging, the best wrestling fans out there, like
They've
myself.
alluded to it, say with the New Day, we're saying, oh yeah, Cody, yeah, how great were you in high school? I mean, they've alluded to him not being like this super clean guy.
I'm sure he's gonna turn eventually, but with the merchandise sales that they're having with him, why turn him heel right now? It doesn't make business sense. And you don't have to take any risks. You have Raw and SmackDown on their long-term contracts with the respective streaming and networks. Like, why would you do that?
So this is why it's also bad that this happened, is that you painted yourself into a corner. Because we already done seen the other guy, the match with the other guy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good.
It was not good.
So, I mean, what are you going to do? Cody's going to keep the belt until Mania. We're seeing that now.
Yeah.
No, because KO should have beat him.
He should have. And that's another reason why I think Jay Uso is fine. Because you have been protecting Cody really this entire time. It's not a memorable title reign.
Would you be excited if it was Punk versus Cody?
If Punk goes over, yes.
Okay, but no. Let's talk about the road there, right? Regardless of what happens at Mania.
No.
Punk versus Cody. The promo on Raw was really good.
I don't care about promos.
Yeah, that's why I would say yes. And I don't like Punk at all. I think his in-ring is trash. But you gotta say this. His promos leading up to it makes you invested. And if he has the right dance partner that can carry him in a match, a la what Drew McIntyre did, then all of a sudden it becomes really interesting.
You're good.
Yeah.
I don't know if Cody could carry him, and Jay definitely could not.
Drew versus Cody. They used to be tag team partners back when. Drew has been doing the best work he has ever done lately. He definitely deserves it. He won the Rumble right before the pandemic and didn't have his Mania moment winning the title. Drew versus Cody at Mania, I would have been thrilled about that.
It's true.
Drew's problem was he screwed himself last year at WrestleMania. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I thought it was great. And then he started beefing with Punk like that. At WrestleMania, right? Talking trash at WrestleMania and got cashed in on, right? It's kind of a good thing to see him enraged, back in the hunt, hurting people, I enjoy this. I enjoy this Drew McIntyre. This is the Drew McIntyre that I knew he was capable of doing when he first debuted.
Yeah.
He's special.
Yeah, he's special.
He is really the chosen one now. I'm fine with it. He can pick up the belt whenever he wants. Gunther is another one. He can pick up that belt whenever he wants. Whenever he wants. It's like Charlotte. Like when Charlotte comes back, she can pick up the belt whenever she wants. Right? I'm not really so worried about them. They can carry the belt and have a year-long, 2-year-long title reign and be just fine and beat everybody on the roster. But my thing is, like I said, Royal Rumble, King of the Ring, Money in the Bank spots. I want to see like an upstart. I want to see. I'm glad that Lyra Valkyria won the Intercontinental Championship, right? Because upstart, right? You need to start somewhere. You need to be able to build them up. Um, Chelsea Green, right? Of course, she maximizes
Yeah.
minutes. I like to see people who have never had championships win championships. That I've always loved the underdog.
Yeah.
That's just how I like it.
I wouldn't have mind Jay Uso winning the Intercontinental or US title.
That's the spot he should be in.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, he's a mid card.
right.
And he
But
could
him
be a top
pushing-
mid card.
But him pushing John Cena out at the Rumble is a major disappointment to John
It is.
Cena.
It is.
It's a major swerve by Triple H.
I don't
And
even
I
mind
support
that.
No. I support any swerve that Triple H is willing to dish out at this point because I am so sick and tired of missionary Netflix Raw and SmackDown. It's to the point, like I said, I turn the television, I don't even watch it live anymore. I'm so over the product. Now I watch NXT live because I love NXT. I'll always watch NXT. It's developmental and it's fresh and it's new. And you just saw Joe Hendry at the Rumble, right? Everybody was excited. Even Sheamus sat on the sidelines, right? He was excited. I like to see people who have just never had an opportunity win something. He just won a title. He called out John Cena, right? I'm just saying, I like to see that part of it. The Attitude Era did this every single time. It was a reason why we continue to watch. It was never, I could just turn it off. If I missed one segment of the Attitude Era, you might have been done.
So this is an even better question that I can ask. So seeing that they have a problem with baby faces, how do they fix it? How do you develop a good baby face in today's wrestling?
Let them win matches that they're supposed to win. That's for starters. So, major matches. For example, I'll give you one. He's not a face, but I'll give you one. Carmelo Hayes should have pinned Cody at least one time out of the 2 matches they had.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
He has been on a downward trajectory ever since. Don't get me wrong, he can win the Money in the Bank this year, and we have hopes, we have high hopes.
Yeah.
But why are you crossing your fingers and hoping and saying your prayers and eating your vitamins and drinking your milk, hoping that he gets a Money in the Bank opportunity because you're not doing anything with them on the roster?
He's a great athlete.
Yep. Yeah.
That's a good example. So you have to let them win the matches. LA Knight. I know he didn't
Knight.
want to be. I didn't want him to beat Roman. But okay, if y'all do a tournament for this Universal title, whatever later on, let him win it. Put him over.
He'd be a good King of the Ring guy.
I don't know about that.
Why?
Only because for me, I feel like Gunther. The ring is sacred. And you better be able to really wrestle. And LA Knight is not on that level of wrestling, in my opinion.
But Jey Uso could be King of the Ring.
No, I never said he could be King of the Ring. I never said that. Who said
But
that?
you're saying he could be world champion, which is even more sacred.
No. What I said, no. Actually, no. Actually,
At Mania. At Mania. I got you, Phil. I got you.
at Mania Night 1, yes, he's not gonna be Mania Night 2. Okay, let's okay, fine. We have got this product. Okay, fine. This product has gotten so watered down and so saturated that we have 2 nights of Mania. We're going to 2 nights of SummerSlam. We're going to what? Is it 2 nights of Survivor Series 2 coming
I
up?
don't think so.
No,
Not
no.
yet.
But-
Not yet.
I'm saying we're going 2 nights Rumbles, 2 nights SummerSlams, 2 nights Manias. That's insane. That's insane. It's an insane amount of just saturating of wrestling. You're going to have some good matches. You're going to have some bad ones.
And from all the ideas they could come up with, Jey Uso winning the Rumble
It's not that. It's not
is the
that.
idea that they
It's
came
not
up
that.
with.
It's him screwing over John Cena. You have to look at it from that perspective. Him screwing over John Cena's 17th title reign off the top and making his road to WrestleMania harder.
You saw the interview after, right?
Yeah.
That was nuts. That was nuts. That's the most intense I've seen him in a long, long, long time.
He doesn't need to have the easy road. He's a 16-time champion.
The man had to talk his way into a match. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
But he doesn't. But okay, fine. He's a 16-time champion. Charlotte just did it, right? And I felt the same way. I wanted her to have a holy shit moment. I didn't want her to just be debuted on that promo video and no real. Think about it. We didn't have a real build up on the Women's Rumble. We'll talk about that one later. We didn't have a real build up to it. But no, this was a swerve. This was a, oh shit. I might have to tune in to see what happens on Monday, right? And let everybody tune in on Monday to see what happened with Jay Uso.
Jay Uso's going to be in the corner with a can of paint because he painted himself into one. You can't do anything with it.
Didn't he say that he was going after Gunther in that interview after Royal Rumble?
He said a lot of things that I didn't necessarily agree with, and he shouldn't have said a lot of things. Okay? He really did. He said a lot of things I didn't agree with on Raw and during that interview. Okay?
Hey, I love Jay Uso. I think his Jeet movement, or however you call it, is really amazing. I've been there in the crowd twice already, jeeting and having fun. It's like a big party. It's a good thing to enjoy, but you don't have to put the world title or give an accolade like the Royal Rumble to someone that is over just because. You can still ride that wave and get.
You know how much that CM Punk title cost? You know how much that John Cena title cost? This is what they're thinking about. They're gonna get a Yeet title, and it's gonna be like $600, and it's gonna be signed on the back. I'm telling you. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
You're right.
Yeet.
This is what they do. Okay,
Yeet.
people bought. We watched it. We watched a video where the guy bought $2,000 worth of merch at the Indianapolis Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
He bought a Tiffy in the bank, right? 2 indie titles that were signed on the back. I'm just saying,
It's a collector.
this is what this product has become: 2-night SummerSlams, 2-night WrestleManias. You're gonna have some tomfoolery.
And if you don't
can't
think
avoid
that changing the World Heavyweight Championship, assuming he goes for that one, or the undisputed WWE Championship to a G title is not going to be detrimental in the long run to the prestige of that championship, we are not on the same page.
It's not about the
So the
length
problem
and
is,
pursuit of the
Javi, is that he's
championship.
right. It's about that merch sales. It's about,
Correct.
and he's so over that they're going to test it with. We don't even have to have a good in-ring guy or promo guy. We can just have a guy who's just popular that the people have chosen to be the champ, and we could have him beat our best wrestler. They could have him beat Gunther, the best wrestler in the world, and just say we're just going to sell merch.
They gonna have Yeet jackets with the world title on them.
Unfortunately, my brother from Michigan is right. Some people just don't care about in-ring anymore. They could care less.
Mm-hmm.
So
No Jeet.
So
I think it's still gonna impact the business in the long term.
Gunther can win the Money in the Bank and go cash in on Cody whenever he wants to.
it's true.
That could be the universal. Like I said, he can get whatever title he wants to. It is what it is. And he loves to play this heel role where he's always condescending towards everybody and ripping them apart. It can work. And him not have to go out of too much of a character to do it. It can work. Now, he's a tag guy. He ripped them up on the microphone. I'm not going to lie about it. The match won't necessarily be the greatest. But for night 1 of WrestleMania and tickets going for $800.
Yep. But when Jay goes to Mania and faces Gunther and loses, what was the whole point of him winning the Royal Rumble?
Y'all don't understand. He's called what? Main event Jay Uso. who has a very low percentage win rate. How do you call yourself main event and you've been losing the entire time?
Yeet.
No, I'm just saying. And you're still getting over.